There are only 4 potential agency models that you need to care about if you want to build an agency that can scale to millions this year. We've pulled together the 4 agency model options that you have. They're the ones where there are proven living examples of agencies smashing it out of the park. Welcome back to the fatjoe Agency Academy, helping you build a better agency. Now, let's get into the 4 agency models that we've seen killing it amongst our thousands of monthly agency clients and our competitors. The do-it-all agency. The first model is the do-it-all agency. This is like a traditional agency that you most likely immediately think of. From when the web first began up until maybe 10, 15 years ago, pretty much all agencies were actually do-it-all agencies. They did everything for everyone. Whether it's SEO, paid ads, web development, social media, or content. They just did it all because the internet and the industry hadn't matured to a point where specialization or niching was particularly needed. Agencies could just pitch to companies, "We'll handle all your marketing," and that was all they needed to do. Now, obviously, the web is a lot more mature. Brands are building their own in-house teams as the default. It's actually now very common that brands, particularly the bigger ones, they just build their own in-house team. So does that mean that they simply won't use agencies at all? Not at all. But there's typically a bit more of a hybrid approach these days. The do-it-all agency model does still exist, and it can be a very viable model. Serious money can be made because the market's so big, but it's very hard to build a full-service agency from scratch these days. A plus point for the model is that there's no glaring vulnerability to changes to any one facet of your business. If you're doing everything for everyone, then there's always going to be some kind of work, theoretically. Whether that's AI forward work in the future, or charting the twists and turns of new SEO, or changing models of web dev. This model allows the pivot and change to happen naturally because there's no deep commitment to any one model, niche, or specialty. But it can get messy. This kind of agency typically relies on complex proposals, long drawn-out discovery, and onboarding processes, all of the usual trappings of enterprise slowness. To be able to offer everything to your typically larger clients, you yourself need to expand, and with that comes bulk and bloat. Having some level of productization is key to mitigate this. It's key to the growth of the model. But there are just going to be some more grey areas compared to other models, and it will naturally move that little bit slower. If you want an example of an all things to all men agency, a great shout is WebFX. They're making it work, and they say that they've generated 10 billion plus of value for their clients. But just look at how many services they've got and how long they've been in the game to get to that stage. This isn't one that you can replicate overnight. The specialist agency. The next model is the specialist agency. These agencies, they sell to brands, to their in-house marketing teams, but they can also sell to other agencies. Agencies who have a bigger retainer and they need someone to do something specific, whether that's digital PR, link building, technical SEO, or any similar speciality. The beauty of a specialist agency model is twofold. They go really deep on this one really specific thing, and they get really, really good at it. And also, because of economies of scale, they can do it faster and cheaper than an agency or an in-house team that's trying to do it all. Being able to lean on their expertise and the depth of this knowledge makes it, more often than not, very sensible to outsource to a specialist agency, rather than trying to do it all in-house. An example of an agency with this model is Conversion Rate Experts. They specialize purely in conversion rate optimization and landing page optimizations. That's all they do, CRO. They've got case study after case study with major brands like Apple, Google, and Amazon. They've got so many testimonials and results. You just know they're the ones that are going to be the best at this. Hell, they've even got a book. They've got loads of big clients. It's very simple to understand their offering. They focus on one thing and they do it exceptionally well. This is a good example of a specialist agency to model yourselves after. Obviously, whatever the specialty, if it's email marketing, technical SEO audits, or whatever specific thing that there's an expertise in, an agency can be modeled around this, have a clear offering, and then target other agencies or target in-house teams. It's a pretty good model, but the downside is also quite obvious with this one. As amazing as it is to get really good at one thing, if the industry experiences a major shift and that skill's not so valued anymore, you're in trouble. Sure, in this example, CRO will probably be around for the foreseeable, but I'm thinking here of copywriting agencies getting decimated by AI. or even just facing apples to apples specialized competitor who can simply offer more for less. Having fewer service offerings makes direct comparisons much easier and potentially more damaging for your agency. The niche agency. The third one is the niche agency. fatjoe CEO Joe Davies preaches about this one pretty religiously. Pick one niche market. It could be law firms, dentists, trades, SaaS, e-commerce, education, businesses, restaurants. You get the idea. Target one industry. This usually works best if you can resemble the full stack agency from the first model, offering everything that the client could possibly need, but with the more refined messaging of targeting a single industry. But actually, increasingly, we're seeing that you need to niche down even further than that and become the specific option for one service within one industry. Think, for example, of the link builder for iGaming clients, for example, and how there can still be so much competition for that one niche. I've picked out an example of an industry-specific agency here, Cardinal Digital Marketing. If you look at how they're positioning themselves, they're very much for healthcare providers. SEO for hospitals, clinics, and medical practices. They are doing multiple services, SEO, paid ads, just general all-round marketing and even web development as well. So they're going to healthcare organizations and they're going to look after their whole marketing. They've got testimonials from healthcare administrators and medical practice owners. It becomes very obvious if you're running a healthcare organization, these are going to be a good choice to look after the whole of your marketing. They've just got tons of credibility, absolutely tons of it, and have been going for years, building deep expertise in healthcare compliance, HIPAA considerations, and patient acquisition. That's what you've got to be able to demonstrate if you're going to become a niche agency. Not just in-depth knowledge of your work, but also of their work. Industry-specific compliance, niche language, everything to reassure them that you're the guys that they need. I've hit the downsides of other models, and for this one, it should be pretty clear again, but it's total market share and opportunity. Becoming the option in an industry, it's great, but the size of that industry might be a natural limiter, even in the biggest of markets. The wholesaler. Then the final one is the wholesaler. That's where we sit with fatjoe. Leaning on economies of scale, fatjoe and other wholesalers build systems and processes that mean that we can do it faster, cheaper, better, easier than any other agency who wants to try and do it in-house, or any client-side in-house team that wants to try it themselves. A wholesaler's whole MO is to perfect their systems and their deliverability to then lean on scale for their margins, not direct markups and fees. A wholesale agency might do multiple things like links, content, design, video, but they're doing it all in a process-driven way. That means that they can sell these deliverables at volume, and they have the power to produce that volume. Ultimately, they have scale. This means that agencies that want to outsource and make a profit, make ROI on that margin, they can do that. In-house teams that already have their own master plan can outsource to a wholesaler. The wholesaler, they won't give them strategies. They won't run the campaigns. They'll just give them the parts so that campaigns can be built, or the in-house team or the agency can then build the campaigns. This is a great model if you're very systems driven and already have maybe 2 or 3 services done pretty well. Want an example of a wholesale agency? Like I say, look no further than us here at fatjoe. We've spent years perfecting repeatable systems and deliverables to ensure that we can deliver consistently and at a price point that others can then resell. The glaring downside of this model is that you're typically a silent partner. You're not going to get glowing case studies where clients openly mention your services, and you have a natural complexity hurdle. Even if, say, a brand needs the link building that we offer, we can't provide the consultancy that they typically need or expect. Unless they're able to determine exactly what they require, they'd likely actually just go to an agency to sort that out for them. One that might actually just be reselling fatjoe links anyway. So, which agency model should you embrace? If we were to recommend just one of these multi-million-dollar capable agency models, we'd probably go for the industry-specific model. It allows for great flexibility in changing up your service offerings. You don't need to absolutely perfect, say, just digital PR to stand out, for example. But a typical industry choice should give you scope to find plenty of clients. You just need to put in the work to truly understand that industry. But with that said, there's clearly value in any one of these models, as we've shown growing our own wholesale agency model to $50 million plus. But which model appeals most to you? And who do you see absolutely killing it with one of these models? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe to get more great agency advice from the fatjoe Agency Academy, helping you build a better agency.